This is the $6 billion jet that shocked Putin in Alaska. While military aircraft represent national power, America's deployment of these stealth bombers to Alaskan airspace triggered immediate Russian Arctic defense repositioning, proving that certain jets transcend hardware into geopolitical weapons. Putin's panicked response revealed how aerial supremacy reshapes international dynamics through strategic intimidation. To fully grasp how this $6 billion jet achieved such unprecedented geopolitical impact, let's look at another advanced fighter that demonstrates cutting-edge military technology through international collaboration, only at a smaller scale. Understanding the Eurofighter Typhoon's approach reveals the foundation that America's shocking Alaskan deployment would later perfect. But first, let's explore the Eurofighter's capabilities. The Eurofighter Typhoon represents Europe's $124 million answer to American air superiority, built through international collaboration between the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and Spain to create a multi-role fighter that challenges US dominance in advanced military aviation. The Typhoon doesn't just serve individual nations, it operates as a symbol of European technological independence, demonstrating that coordinated international development can produce aircraft capabilities that rival American military supremacy through shared expertise and resources. The Typhoon's approach to international intimidation operates through collaborative superiority strategy. Its advanced radar systems can track over 20 targets simultaneously while engaging multiple enemies with beyond visual range missiles, creating air superiority capabilities that make traditional fighter aircraft obsolete in modern combat scenarios. When Typhoons patrol European airspace, they demonstrate technological sophistication that forces potential adversaries to reconsider aggressive actions, because engaging these aircraft means facing cutting-edge weaponry developed by four nations' combined military expertise. What makes the Eurofighter particularly significant is how its international production demonstrates European unity in military technology development, creating political intimidation that transcends individual aircraft capabilities. The collaborative manufacturing process involves sophisticated supply chains spanning multiple countries, making the Typhoon virtually impossible to counter through traditional industrial sabotage or economic pressure, because disrupting production would require attacking four separate nations simultaneously. This distributed development model creates strategic resilience that makes European air power extremely difficult to neutralize. The Typhoon's combat capabilities include advanced electronic warfare systems, precision strike weapons, and air-to-air missiles that can engage targets at ranges exceeding 100 kilometers, making it lethal against both enemy aircraft and ground targets. Its twin-engine design provides redundancy that ensures mission completion even after sustaining battle damage, while its advanced flight computers enable maneuvers that exceed human pilot limitations through fly-by-wire technology. This pattern of using international collaboration to achieve military technological advancement established the foundation principles that more powerful nations would build upon to create aircraft so advanced they reshape geopolitical relationships through their deployment rather than just their combat capabilities. If you thought the Eurofighter's international collaboration was impressive, wait until you discover the Dassault Rafale, the one that France built to deliver nuclear strikes from aircraft carriers while maintaining complete operational independence. Understanding the Rafale's approach brings you even closer to seeing exactly how America's $6 billion jets in Alaska achieved such unprecedented strategic shock. But first, let's clearly unpack France's nuclear-capable fighter. 9. Dassault Rafale, France. The Dassault Rafale operates as France's $115 million declaration of strategic independence, engineered to deliver nuclear strikes from aircraft carriers while maintaining complete operational autonomy from NATO command structures. The Rafale doesn't just serve French military interests, it projects nuclear deterrence through carrier-based operations that allow France to threaten any location on Earth without depending on Allied support or foreign military bases for strategic reach. The Rafale's approach to nuclear intimidation operates through independent strike capability strategy. Its ASMPA nuclear missiles can deliver 300 kiloton warheads at ranges exceeding 500 kilometers, creating a nuclear threat projection that operates independently from American or NATO nuclear umbrella policies. When Rafales deploy from French aircraft carriers, they demonstrate France's ability to conduct nuclear strikes anywhere in the world without requiring permission, coordination, or support from other nations' military infrastructure. What makes the Rafale particularly threatening is how its carrier operations enable France to position nuclear strike capabilities off any coastline worldwide, creating strategic flexibility that most nations cannot match. The aircraft's advanced radar systems and electronic warfare capabilities allow it to penetrate enemy air defenses while carrying nuclear payloads, making French nuclear deterrence credible against any potential adversary, regardless of their defensive preparations. The Rafale's omni-role design combines air superiority, ground attack, and nuclear strike capabilities in a single platform that can operate from aircraft carriers, land bases, or forward airstrips. Its conformal fuel tanks and aerial refueling capability provide intercontinental range that makes French nuclear threats globally viable rather than regionally limited. This pattern of using advanced aircraft to project independent nuclear deterrence established the framework for strategic intimidation through airborne nuclear capability that operates beyond traditional alliance structures. France's nuclear independence was strategically brilliant, but the Boeing F-15EX Eagle II took air superiority to technological levels that make nuclear deterrence look conventional. This $87 million fighter creates such overwhelming aerial dominance that enemy aircraft become obsolete. The Eagle II supremacy reveals how America's $6 billion jets in Alaska learn to dominate through pure technological superiority. Here's how the Eagle II rules the skies. 8. Boeing F-15EX Eagle II, United States. The Boeing F-15EX Eagle II dominates modern air combat through $87 million worth of technological superiority, so overwhelming that enemy aircraft become obsolete before entering engagement range, creating aerial supremacy that operates through pure technological advantage rather than pilot skill or numerical superiority. The Eagle II doesn't just win air battles, it prevents them by demonstrating capabilities that make challenging American air power equivalent to suicide for opposing air forces. The Eagle II's approach to technological dominance operates through overwhelming capability demonstration strategy. Its advanced radar systems can simultaneously track and engage multiple targets at ranges exceeding 160 kilometers, while its electronic warfare suites disable enemy aircraft systems before visual contact occurs. When Eagle II's patrol contested airspace, they create no-fly zones through demonstrated technological superiority that makes enemy pilots refuse combat rather than face certain destruction. What makes the Eagle II particularly intimidating is how its weapons payload exceeds most other fighters' entire combat capability, carrying up to 29,500 pounds of missiles and bombs that can eliminate entire enemy air formations in single engagements. Its fly-by-wire flight controls enable maneuvers that exceed human physical limitations, while its advanced engines provide speed and altitude advantages that make escape impossible for enemy aircraft once engagement begins. The Eagle II's combat record demonstrates American aerial technological supremacy that transcends traditional air combat into psychological warfare, where enemy nations avoid air confrontations because their pilots understand that engaging Eagle IIs means facing technology that operates decades ahead of their capabilities. This creates strategic deterrence through demonstrated technological gap rather than just numerical aircraft advantage. The Eagle II's technological supremacy was devastating, but the F-35 Lightning II weaponized something even more powerful. Global stealth networks that make enemy defenses completely blind to American operations. The F-35's invisible warfare shows exactly how America's $6 billion jets in Alaska learn to operate beyond detection entirely. Here's how the Lightning II vanishes. 7. Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, United States. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II operates through $80 million stealth technology so advanced that enemy radar systems cannot detect its presence until missiles are already destroying their targets, creating invisible warfare capabilities that make traditional air defense systems completely obsolete. The F-35 doesn't just avoid detection, it operates as a ghost fighter that can penetrate any airspace, eliminate any target, and escape without enemy forces realizing they're under attack until explosions begin. The F-35's approach to invisible dominance operates through comprehensive stealth integration strategy. Its radar-absorbing materials, angular design, and electronic countermeasures create radar signatures smaller than birds, while its advanced sensors provide 360-degree situational awareness that allows pilots to engage targets they cannot see while remaining invisible to enemy detection systems. When F-35s enter contested airspace, they eliminate air defense networks systematically without triggering alert systems until entire defensive infrastructures have been destroyed. What makes the F-35 particularly terrifying is how its network-centric warfare capabilities allow multiple aircraft to coordinate attacks through encrypted data links that share targeting information instantaneously across entire strike packages. Enemy commanders discover their air defenses are under attack only after F-35 formations have already eliminated radar sites, missile launchers, and command centers using precision weapons delivered from invisible platforms operating beyond detection range. The F-35's global production partnerships create international stealth networks where allied nations operate coordinated invisible strike capabilities that can overwhelm any adversary's defensive systems through simultaneous multi-directional attacks. This distributed stealth force makes defending against F-35 operations practically impossible because enemies cannot target aircraft they cannot detect operating from multiple countries simultaneously. The F-35's invisible networks were revolutionary, but the F/A-18F Super Hornet mastered something more versatile: carrier-based strike operations that project American power from any ocean worldwide. The Super Hornet's maritime supremacy exposes how America's $6 billion jets in Alaska learn to dominate through global reach rather than just stealth. Here's how the Super Hornet rules the seas. 6. Boeing F/A-18F Super Hornet, United States. The Boeing F/A-18F Super Hornet projects American military power through $70 million carrier-based operations that transform aircraft carriers into floating air bases capable of launching devastating strikes against any coastline worldwide, creating maritime supremacy that operates independently from land-based military infrastructure. The Super Hornet doesn't just serve as carrier aircraft, it enables America to position overwhelming firepower off any nation's shores without requiring permission, treaties, or allied support for strategic operations. The Super Hornet's approach to maritime dominance operates through carrier-based global reach strategy. Its twin-engine design and advanced avionics enable operations from aircraft carriers in all weather conditions, while its electronic warfare capabilities can disable enemy communications and radar systems during strike missions. When Super Hornet squadrons deploy on carrier battle groups, they create mobile air superiority that can appear off any coastline within weeks, demonstrating American ability to project force globally through naval aviation. What makes the Super Hornet particularly threatening is how its carrier operations enable sustained air campaigns against land targets without requiring overseas air bases or allied cooperation that might be withdrawn during political crises. The aircraft's aerial refueling capability and precision weapon systems allow extended-range strikes that can eliminate critical infrastructure, military installations, and command centers while operating from international waters beyond territorial boundaries. The Super Hornet's electronic warfare variants create additional intimidation through their ability to jam enemy communications, disable air defense systems, and coordinate with other aircraft to overwhelm defensive networks. This creates comprehensive suppression capabilities that make carrier-based air operations nearly unstoppable once American naval forces position themselves within strike range. America's carrier dominance was globally intimidating, but Russia's Su-57 Felon attempted something different. Fifth-generation stealth technology designed to challenge American aerial supremacy through advanced maneuverability systems. The Su-57's capabilities reveal the opposition that America's $6 billion jets in Alaska were specifically designed to overwhelm. Here's how Russia tried to compete. 5th, Sukhoi Su-57 Felon, Russia. The Sukhoi Su-57 Felon represents Russia's $42 million attempt to challenge American aerial supremacy through fifth-generation stealth technology and advanced maneuverability systems designed to compete directly with F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning IIs in modern air combat scenarios. The Su-57 doesn't just serve Russian military interests, it operates as Putin's declaration that Russia can develop stealth fighters capable of penetrating American air defenses and engaging US aircraft on equal technological terms. The Su-57's approach to stealth competition operates through maneuverability-focused superiority strategy. Its thrust-vectoring engines enable post-stall maneuvers that exceed Western fighter capabilities, while its stealth characteristics provide reduced radar signature that allows closer approach to enemy targets before detection occurs. When Su-57s patrol Russian airspace, they demonstrate technological advancement that forces American military planners to reconsider air superiority assumptions, because engaging these aircraft requires acknowledging that Russia has developed competitive fifth-generation capabilities. What makes the Su-57 particularly concerning for Western air forces is how its advanced radar systems and long-range missiles create engagement capabilities that can threaten American aircraft at beyond visual range distances, while maintaining stealth characteristics that complicate targeting solutions. The aircraft's supercruise capability allows sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, providing tactical advantages that enable hit-and-run attacks against slower enemy aircraft. The Su-57's limited production numbers reflect Russia's economic constraints rather than technological limitations, creating strategic implications where each aircraft represents significant technological investment that Putin cannot afford to lose in combat operations. This scarcity makes Su-57 deployments psychologically significant because their presence signals Russian commitment to defending specific territories or objectives through advanced military technology. Russia's development of competitive fifth-generation fighters forced American military strategists to acknowledge that air superiority advantages were diminishing, creating pressure to develop even more advanced aircraft capabilities that could maintain technological supremacy against evolving Russian aviation technology. Russia's stealth challenge was technologically impressive, but China's J-20 Mighty Dragon took the competition to industrial levels. This 110 million fighter demonstrates how rapidly China can develop advanced military aviation through massive manufacturing capabilities. The J-20's emergence shows the global challenge that America's $6 billion jets in Alaska were designed to address. Here's how China entered the stealth race. 4. Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon, China. The Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon demonstrates China's $110 million leap into fifth-generation stealth warfare through rapid industrial development that transformed the nation from technological follower into legitimate competitor in advanced military aviation within a single decade. The J-20 doesn't just represent Chinese military modernization, it operates as proof that China can develop stealth fighters capable of challenging American air superiority through indigenous technology and massive manufacturing scale that rivals Western production capabilities. The J-20's approach to stealth competition operates through industrial-scale advancement strategy. Its long-range strike capabilities and advanced radar systems enable deep penetration missions against American bases in the Pacific, while its stealth characteristics provide reduced detectability that complicates U.S. defensive planning throughout the region. When J-20s patrol the South China Sea, they demonstrate China's technological leap from imported Soviet aircraft to indigenous stealth fighters that force American military planners to acknowledge China as a peer competitor in advanced aviation technology. What makes the J-20 particularly threatening to American interests is how its development timeline proves China's ability to accelerate military technology advancement through focused industrial investment and reverse engineering of captured Western systems. The aircraft's advanced avionics and weapon systems demonstrate Chinese technological independence that reduces reliance on Russian military exports while creating domestic aerospace capabilities that rival established Western manufacturers. The J-20's operational deployment in significant numbers showcases China's manufacturing advantage over both Russian and American production rates, creating strategic implications where numerical superiority could overcome individual aircraft technological advantages. Chinese industrial capacity enables J-20 production at scales that American F-22 and F-35 programs cannot match due to cost constraints and limited manufacturing infrastructure. China's rapid stealth fighter development forced American strategists to confront the reality that technological monopolies were ending, creating urgent pressure to deploy aircraft so advanced they could maintain American air superiority, despite emerging Chinese and Russian fifth-generation capabilities. China's industrial stealth surge was strategically alarming, but the F-22 Raptor represented America's response to this challenge. $350 million worth of unmatched air dominance technology that no enemy aircraft can survive encountering. The Raptor's supremacy reveals the benchmark that America's $6 billion jets in Alaska were designed to surpass. Here's how the F-22 dominated everything. 3. Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, United States. The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor operates as America's $350 million declaration of absolute air dominance, engineered with stealth capabilities and supercruise performance so advanced that no enemy aircraft can survive direct engagement. creating aerial supremacy that transcends traditional air combat into technological intimidation. The F-22 doesn't just win air battles, it prevents them by demonstrating capabilities so overwhelming that enemy air forces avoid confrontation, rather than face certain annihilation against superior American technology. The F-22's approach to technological intimidation operates through unmatched superiority demonstration strategy. Its stealth characteristics make detection practically impossible until weapons are already launched, while its supercruise capability enables sustained supersonic flight that allows engagement and escape before enemy aircraft can respond effectively. When F-22s patrol contested airspace, they create psychological deterrence that makes enemy pilots understand that challenging American air power means facing technology that operates decades beyond their capabilities. What makes the F-22 particularly terrifying for opposing air forces is how its combination of stealth, speed, and advanced weaponry creates engagement scenarios where enemy aircraft get destroyed without ever detecting the Raptor's presence. The aircraft's sophisticated radar systems and beyond visual range missiles enable kills at distances exceeding 180 kilometers, making visual combat impossible because enemies die before seeing their attackers. The F-22's limited production run of 187 aircraft reflects American confidence that technological superiority matters more than numerical advantage, creating strategic implications where each Raptor represents overwhelming capability concentration rather than mass production. This scarcity makes F-22 deployments psychologically significant because their presence signals American commitment to defending specific interests through the most advanced air superiority technology ever developed. American air dominance through F-22 operations forced global military planners to acknowledge that conventional air combat had become obsolete, creating pressure to develop entirely new approaches to aerial warfare that could operate beyond traditional fighter engagement parameters. The F-22's air dominance was technologically unmatched, but the B-21 Raider took American supremacy into strategic bombing territory. This $2.9 billion stealth bomber can deliver nuclear strikes anywhere on Earth while remaining completely undetectable. The Raider's nuclear capability shows the escalation that America's $6 billion jets in Alaska would ultimately represent. Here's how the B-21 changes everything. 2. Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider, United States. The Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider represents America's $2.9 billion investment in strategic nuclear intimidation through next-generation stealth technology that can deliver nuclear warheads to any location on Earth while remaining completely undetectable to enemy defense systems. The B-21 doesn't just serve as a bomber, it operates as America's ultimate diplomatic weapon, creating nuclear deterrence through demonstrated ability to eliminate any nation's leadership, military infrastructure, or population centers without warning or possibility of interception. The B-21's approach to nuclear intimidation operates through global stealth penetration strategy. Its advanced radar-absorbing materials and electronic countermeasures create invisibility that renders existing air defense systems obsolete, while its intercontinental range enables nuclear strike missions against any target worldwide without requiring forward bases or allied support. When B-21s deploy from American territory, they demonstrate capability to conduct nuclear warfare against any adversary, regardless of geographic distance or defensive preparations. What makes the B-21 particularly terrifying for potential enemies is how its stealth characteristics enable nuclear first strike capabilities that could eliminate enemy nuclear forces before retaliation becomes possible. The bomber's advanced sensors and precision weapon systems allow targeting of mobile missile launchers, submarine bases, and command bunkers with nuclear weapons delivered from invisible platforms that cannot be intercepted or even detected until warheads explode. The B-21's development program represents American commitment to maintaining nuclear superiority through technological advancement that outpaces potential adversaries' defensive development, creating strategic implications where nuclear deterrence operates through demonstrated technological gap rather than just numerical warhead counts. This creates psychological pressure on enemy nations who understand that American nuclear capabilities have evolved beyond their ability to defend against or counter effectively. The B-21's global nuclear reach, through undetectable delivery systems, established the ultimate benchmark for strategic intimidation that transcends conventional military hardware into geopolitical weapons that reshape international power dynamics. Yet all of this barely scratches the surface of what's possible. Because America's $6 billion jets in Alaska didn't just break conventional aviation rules, they rewrote them completely. creating strategic shocks so overwhelming that Putin immediately repositioned Russian Arctic defenses, proving that certain aircraft transcend military hardware into geopolitical weapons that reshape international dynamics through their mere presence. Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, America's $6 billion jets in Alaska that shocked Putin. The Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit operates as America's $6.2 billion strategic intimidation weapon, whose deployment to Alaskan airspace in 2023 triggered immediate Russian Arctic defense repositioning, proving that certain aircraft transcend military hardware into geopolitical weapons that reshape international power dynamics through strategic presence alone. Putin didn't just respond to military deployment, he witnessed American capability demonstrations so overwhelming that continuing Russian Arctic expansion became strategically impossible without facing nuclear retaliation delivered by invisible bombers. The B-2's approach to geopolitical intimidation operates through strategic presence shock methodology. Its stealth technology makes radar detection impossible while carrying 40,000 pounds of nuclear weapons that can eliminate entire military installations, command centers, or population areas without warning or possibility of interception. When B-2 Spirits deployed to Alaska, they positioned America's most advanced nuclear delivery systems within striking distance of Russian Arctic territories, creating strategic pressure that forced Putin to acknowledge American willingness to defend Arctic interests through overwhelming technological superiority. What made Putin's response so dramatic was discovering that B-2 operations from Alaska could eliminate Russian Arctic military infrastructure within hours, while remaining completely undetectable to existing defense systems. The bomber's intercontinental range and aerial refueling capabilities enable sustained nuclear strike missions against any Russian target from Arctic, European, or Pacific approaches simultaneously, creating multi-directional threat scenarios that Russian air defenses cannot counter effectively. The B-2's deployment demonstrated American capability to conduct preemptive nuclear strikes against Russian Arctic installations using stealth technology that renders existing defensive preparations obsolete. Putin's immediate repositioning of Arctic defenses revealed his understanding that challenging American interests in Alaska meant facing nuclear retaliation delivered by aircraft he cannot detect, track, or intercept using current Russian technology. The ultimate strategic shock emerged when Putin realized that B-2 operations from Alaska created permanent American nuclear overmatch in Arctic regions where Russia had been expanding military presence. The bomber's ability to eliminate Russian Arctic bases, submarine facilities, and missile installations without warning forced Putin to abandon aggressive Arctic expansion because continuing would trigger confrontation with aircraft capable of destroying Russian strategic assets faster than they could be replaced or defended. The B-2's psychological impact transcended military capability into diplomatic leverage that made Putin understand American commitment to Arctic dominance through technological superiority that Russia cannot match or counter. The $6.2 billion investment in each B-2 Spirit represented American willingness to deploy unlimited resources for maintaining strategic advantages that force adversaries to abandon territorial ambitions rather than face impossible military scenarios. Putin's shocked response to American B-2 deployment in Alaska proved that certain military technologies create strategic intimidation so comprehensive that geopolitical competition becomes futile, establishing American Arctic dominance through demonstrated capability rather than diplomatic negotiation or economic pressure.